On the previous video that I had this one still in, and I told you that the cap was the oil cooler, but that was not the case. I went to the dealership and I got a diagram that I didn't have on my software, and it actually showed me that. And as you can see, the up part is the oil cooler, and I look at the bottom, and the part that I took out, which was this one at the beginning, not the coil pack, but the part behind it, this one, didn't have that part. This is the gasket that I thought that I need to change. But when I went to the dealership, there was this gasket right here, and I was trying to think, how can I get this gasket? It turned out that the dealership will not sell the gasket by itself, and they sell the whole assembly of the oil cooler together. So you can't buy only this gasket and replace it over here on this section, which is basically the bottom right here. You can't do that. There is, I'm dripping some oil on myself. But anyway, I'll show you. This part sits inside here. There is a gasket. You got to pry it out because the gasket's supposedly kind of glued together. You got to buy the whole assembly of the oil separator, the oil cooler, which is that part, including the cap going together. So there's going to be two gaskets. One that sits here, right in this section. I can't hold everything and show you, but it sits over here, all around. And there is an O-ring. I'm dripping oil. I don't know if I should drip oil on that. No, I shouldn't. Okay, let me clean that real quick. Hold on. Okay, I cleaned that. That's actually where the coolant is flowing and cooling the oil. So the oil circulates into the oil cooler, and the fluid, the cooling fluid, flows underneath and cooling all of it. So sometimes if this gasket goes, you may get coolant in the oil. That might be a possibility. But anyway, you need to change all of it. You can't just change the gasket. You gotta buy the whole assembly, because the assembly comes together with the gasket. So there's no way to get only the gasket and put it in together. And I'm going to clean everything. And I'm going to clean everything with, they call it Loctite 063 or 7063. That's a special cleaning agent. It doesn't make sense like a Loctite will be a cleaning agent, but that's what it is. This is the part number if you need that information. Let me see if I can zoom on that for you. And come on, come on, come on. Oh, it doesn't. All right. Anyway, you can pause it and try and read it. This is the part number from Mercedes. Loctite is what I'm going to clean the heads. I'm going to clean the sealant over here where the oil cooler sitting. And I'm going to clean everything, all the old oil there, make sure I'm going to get good flow, no problem with that. But that's exactly where the oil leaks. This is where the leaks is coming from. Leak is coming when the oil flows into, and I'm going to show you again the whole assembly of the cooler. Let me move the coil pack. By the way, the coil pack is an important, expensive part that you don't want to mess up. You want to be gentle with. If you mess that up, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And when all that stuff fits together, you're going to end up spending so much money on the car that it doesn't worth it. So this is the assembly of the oil cooler. Again, I call it oil separator. And it sits like that. This is the oil cooler right here. And there are two different gaskets. One of them is this one right here that is dry. This is one of them that need to be replaced. And it sits between right there. And there is another gasket that sits underneath. Now if you don't replace both gaskets, you didn't do the job. Then you'll put everything back together, you'll crank the car, and guess what happens? You're right, you have oil pedal underneath. So you need to replace, look at all this gunk. Nasty. But you need to replace the whole oil separator, the whole, oil cooler. If you don't replace all the oil cooler, you're going to run into trouble and your whole work is for nothing. This is the assembly of the oil cooler. I've never seen that on blogs or anything else before, so if I had all this knowledge before I started, I don't know if it would have taken more faster or anything, but it would just make everything clear for me, and I would have known what I'm looking for. This is what you need to change. Once you change that, your car is good for at least probably 10 years. You do a good job, you clean everything real good, you use the Loctite to clean everything, you make sure you got the gaskets right, You make sure you get the whole assembly of the oil cooler. Don't try to make a shortcut or anything. You put it back in and reassemble everything, and your car is good to go. So I think that's pretty much finalized everything as far as the oil leak on S600, the Mercedes Benz S600. If you got any question or any comments, please don't hesitate, write me down. If you want, subscribe to my videos. I work usually on Mercedeses. Every now and then I'll do something on BMWs too. But my favorite cars are Mercedeses. Very knowledgeable with the cars. If you have any question, you ran into any kind of a problem or anything, shoot me a line. I'll respond as fast as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck to you guys.